Hey guys, Eric here. I am currently on the job, but right now there's not a whole lot to do. I just have to keep tension. I'll pause the video if anything comes up and I have to take care of people. But I wanted to dive into a topic that I have never seen discussed before, and one that I think is long overdue. So for those of you who have consistently watched my INFJ videos, thank you, welcome back, and I hope you find this video both helpful and entertaining. So to step right into this, I want to start off by saying INFJs, you have incredible intuition, and it is not something that should be scoffed at or overlooked. I also want to begin by saying that I'm sure you've already noticed more than 50% of the time it's wrong. And you might be asking yourself, why is this? And in this video, I'm going to help break this down, this topic down, and I'm going to explain to you why your intuition is so often misguided and what you can do to change that. So let's start at the beginning. Intuition rests and ties into the subconscious layer of the brain. What happens here is an interpersonal web of knowledge is gathered through your experiences and observations during a lifetime. Everything from body language to common knowledge in mathematics, even equations. It's how you can usually predict when it's going to rain before it does. Most people have no clue, they're not even thinking about it. You may have not watched the weather that day, but you go outside and all of a sudden you're working out, maybe at the park or you're out for a jog, and then snap of the finger, it just happens like boom. You just realize, hey, it's going to rain tonight. You don't know how you know, but you know. You INFJs, I'm sure you've experienced this. Or you'll be at someone's house, hey, Johnny's upset, or Tyler is frustrated right now. You don't know how you know, but you know things. So this happens in the subconscious layer of the brain. What intuition does is it accesses that information and draws upon it, and pulls it to the forefront of your brain for your own personal analysis. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, that's great, but doesn't that mean intuition is always correct? No, and here's why. If you are going to be analyzing things, you have to have the proper information. The subconscious mind is always analyzing something. So you can get suspicions, intuitive suspicions, and connecting patterns that might form a connection. It doesn't mean that that connection is the correct one. Just because somebody exhibits signs of anger does not mean that they're angry. Maybe they're hurt. How do you know the difference? Your intuition goes off, and you can say this person's angry without them showing any physical signs, purely off of subtle body language cues that your intuition picks up on. Why are they angry? And are they really angry? See how this could be confusing. So then the INFJ, you would go up to them, hey, what's wrong? I can tell something's bothering you. No, I'm fine. They'll say, most of the time, they'll say something like that. Like, no, you're angry. They'll say, I'm not angry, and walk away. And then I've seen this happen only once. They're shedding a tear as they're walking away, and I'm thinking, are they that angry that they're crying? No. I mean, you viewers, you're probably like, oof, Eric, you missed it that time, buddy. I did. All right, I'll acknowledge it. I was naive at the time, and my NI had left much to be desired. But I was wrong. I picked up on the fact that her emotions were in disarray, but I didn't understand why. As a result, I missed it. And through my intuition, I was wrong, and I missed it. How did this happen? I'm going to break this down for you the best way I know how. I have always been a very sensitive person, and I truly believe most INFJs are very sensitive people. Doesn't mean that they're not strong. There's a difference between being emotional and sensitive and being strong and able to stand your ground through life struggles. I believe most INFJs are sensitive. I believe a lot of INFJs are misunderstood, and I also believe that a lot of INFJs lack the social intelligence due to the fact that we are misunderstood. And that ends up affecting the way we perceive people in situations, and as a result, our NI lacks the ability to process complete databases of information, if that makes any sense. So how do you get around this? Well, let's just jump into part 2. Wow, words. I hope you find this video entertaining. All right, part 2. TI. See, this is one thing you can help, but it's really this is something that for INFJs is rather difficult to find a solution to. TI, introverted thinking. See, this is an INFJ's tertiary function. And this tertiary function normally isn't really actively initiated until the age of about 20 to 25. So what that means for an INFJ is this database will mostly feel rather incomplete until that age, at least if you follow the normal pattern of things. This is why I'm making the video. You are an INFJ, drop a like on the comment, shout out in the comment, drop a like in the comment. I'm sorry, I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep, please forgive me. Like the video and drop a comment. Shout out in the comments so I know that you're an INFJ. Let me know how long you've been aware of this, and tell me about your experiences with dealing with your NI, times that you were spot on and times that you missed it. So with the TI, you can actively engage it. Basically, TI is actively analyzing your introverted intuition. So you have access as an INFJ, primarily as your main function with dealing with life and stressors, to the database of intuition in the subconscious layer of your brain. But how do you analyze that information you're getting? You're getting that info, you're connecting the dots, and you're like, hey, I think you're feeling this right. I don't know, I just kind of feel it. It just feels right. It feels because it's so complex. So while you have access to this database of information, how do you dissect it? It's so complex. It processes information 500,000 times faster than your conscious mind. So if you're processing information 500,000 times slower, how do you break this info down? You have access to it. You get the end result with your NI. NI gives us the end results of our intuition that our subconscious has come to the conclusion of. How do you break that down and trace it back to its origins? TI. So most INFJs don't understand this. TI is what allows us to understand the concepts and the reasoning behind the conclusion that our NI gives us. This is how and why when an INFJ gets older, it's almost like they become a master at reading people. From a young age, it's not that way. People like us, they are drawn to us, and they genuinely find us to be genuine people, which is true. And part of that is because of our NI, the way that we are just so intense with how we approach life, because NI is our primary means of dealing with life and approaching it. TI allows us to understand why we approach life this way, understand why we feel certain ways about things. That is why after the age of 16 and a half, around the age of 17, an INFJ's moral compass and map becomes almost set in stone. It really starts to shape itself by that time. It's almost like going from a circle to a sharp arrow. So at that point, around the age of 17, an INFJ really starts, through their NI, they really start getting a grasp and understanding as to why they feel the way about certain things, why their FE causes them to want to be attracted to certain types of people, to feel special sympathy for certain types of people. TI allows us to start dissecting these reasonings and help ground us as the person we become. Now that's a lot of info, and you might say, Eric, that's great, but how in the world am I supposed to even understand where I start? You're there, I'm here, and while I get what you're saying, I don't even know how to apply it. I don't even understand. It's like you said, it's just like a web. Where the heck am I? That's a very good question. If you have no clue where you're at, it's because your TI is not engaged. It is because your emotions have almost blended in and merged with your NI. And it is so complex and so difficult to figure out where the first emotion came from. I'm feeling very just disturbed today, emotionally unsettled, and I don't know why. It's because it's merging with your NI. So what's happening is your subconscious is trying to connect the patterns and dissect where it all began and how it affects other people and the world around you. So all this is going on in the back of your mind, and it feels overwhelming. It feels cognitively and emotionally overwhelming, and that's not your fault. It is just the brain doing its job. So understand, first of all, that there's nothing wrong with you. It's normal for INFJs to process information this way, okay? Second thing, training your TI is a process, not an act. It does not come immediately, it does not come overnight, and it does not come over the course of months. It is gradual and progressive, and it is something you have to, even after the age of 20, actively learn to do. The good news is you can start now. You can start from the time you are 10. I'm not saying it's common, if anything, it's quite the opposite. A child would have to have insane emotional intelligence for that to happen. But you can start now. You can start by stopping, pausing, and reflecting, and learning to actively engage. Okay, I'm feeling angry. Why? When did the feeling start? When did I first start getting angry? Who upset me? You don't know who upset you. Okay. When was the last time I was calm? Okay, I remember being calm, and right then, as soon as you put calm and angry, there's 2 points. Your intuition will connect the dots, and you will gradually get the information through your TI without having to do a massive amount of the research and understanding and thoughts. Same thing, that person's angry. They just got angry. A moment ago, they were calm. Your NI will start connecting the dots. And your intuition will say, they got angry because of something that was said. You don't know what it was that was said that set them off. But now all of a sudden, you've gone from, hey, you're angry, to, hey, someone said something that upset you. You see how how it progresses as you get older. The INFJ's perspective of reality and observation of those around them continues to progress to the point where we almost become masters at reading people. And this is why. This is also why intuition is wrong over 50% of the time for INFJs when it comes to other people. It is because you need information for the database to be complete. You're pulling off of an incomplete and inconclusive database. Suggestive themes, thoughts, and theories are all you have to pull off of until you can understand cognitively why this is happening. And while the subconscious mind connects patterns and events, it does not connect specific bits of information and give you the answer. It just gives you the conclusion. So, all in all, this video is more of a understand yourself rather than a here understand INFJs video. So this video is primarily made for INFJs. However, if you are not an INFJ and you know one and you're trying to help them or you're in their life, keep an eye out, because INFJs don't tend to be TI dominant. I'm a TI dominant INFJ because I have found that it keeps me out of trouble, and quite frankly, I prefer it. I like being able to help people. And the best way I can do that is to see things before they see it. To see why people act out before they do. Basically taking the role of a psychologist or therapist, which is fine. I like that. I can't wait once this coronavirus blows over. I'm going to be going back to school for massage therapy, and I'll get back to that in a moment. So if you're an INFJ's friend, and you see these things that they don't see, talk to them. Seriously, INFJs would love to be engaged in a conversation as to what's upsetting somebody. They want to understand it, and more often than not, they don't understand it. And it's easier said than done, I know. Especially because if an INFJ doesn't know what they're feeling, why they're feeling it, or what they're thinking, it's hard for them to tell you what they're thinking or feeling. So it takes a perspective person to be able to walk with the INFJ and be like, hey, did you see that? I'm like, what? It's like Amanda just suddenly got up and walked away. Why do you think that is? I'm not quite sure. It looked like she was frowning whenever she was walking away, or like she was about to cry. The INFJ's NI will start kicking in and start connecting the dots. So basically, if you have somebody to act as the TI and kind of work with the INFJ, it really helps us to understand ourselves better, and it helps us to feel more secure about ourselves, because until the INFJ's TI is really developed, we don't understand ourselves. And that is very frustrating. It is frustrating to be alive for 20 years and not understand anything about yourself. And it makes us feel very insecure, and it really causes us to lose our self-confidence. And that's normal for a lot of INFJs. We just don't understand it. And that's hard. So when someone says, why do you do this? And we don't have an answer. Why are you so angry all the time? And we don't have an answer. How do you think that makes us? It's hard. We bottle up our emotions, and it causes depression. It really does. And that's not easy. But you INFJs who are feeling this way, if you are depressed like this, get started on the TI now. You promise you won't regret it later. So, ending the video here. For those of you who are already subscribed, thank you. Stay subscribed. Promise you there's more to come. As I said, I'm going back to school for massage therapy. 6-month course. I cannot wait. I'm already $3,000 saved up. I'm so ready to just tackle this, come out the other side. So, once the coronavirus ends and I can go back to school, it'll be awesome. Those of you who have kept up to date know that I have just spent over $500 on recording equipment. So psyched, I got them on a deal. I think it's like $560 I spent, something like that. I might have to spend another $1,200 on a computer if mine can't handle it. I will be releasing music soon. My own original songs, as well as some covers, but I'm going to be selling that music as well as posting my originals to YouTube. I will be hosting contests, and I will be paid royalties if anybody uses my song. So subscribe if you haven't already. I will be giving out free massages as well as taking plane trips to see you, or car trips, depending on where you live, to the winner of these contests when I start releasing them. And the winner will also get a free in-person live version of my song that they cover. So if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and when I start releasing music and start holding these contests, you're going to want to be the first ones to jump on. And the contest will vary in different types, from music videos to simply hosting my music in